but hopefully we got it in a good place. And that being said, we about good to go, I think. So let's get started. Of course, it's only right to start the grand finals showcase with a classic combo of Barking Mad Dog on Buta Otome, but this time it's not Buta Otome, it's a custom Katagiri remix. Let's take a listen at Buta Moso.
くかますそんじょそこらと違う大体の筋で
Alright, we've let that play out a little bit, so let's take a listen to what the story behind this pick is. OG4s, what's going on here, dude?
Alright, so we had a bunch of ideas of streamlining custom songs a bit more in the future for stuff that is, not just a tiebreaker as we saw it last year. And we were thinking of some ideas of just making it work on what we wanted and what we expect to have, and if it actually works out in the first try, or how much feedback we need to give and stuff like that. So Mangomizer, who's taking over most of the custom mapping and like the context in that case, shout outs to you for helping out. We tried with Katagiri and thought, we do have Buto Toma being a staple in a lot of the normal ones, especially when Barking Mad Dog is present. And trying it out here, well, with Barking Mad Dog and Katagiri, seemed like a good fit. And we did try our best, and I think it worked out pretty well. It's as normal one as you want it to be. But it is not really a featured artist song, it's not licensed for it. In the end, I did pay for it personally, because I thought this is really, I think this is pretty good to go for. To not just have, a random anime normal one song, and actually have a Katagiri and Buto Tome combination, which I definitely like.
Make sure everyone is thanking Forrest for saving us from anime.
Thanks.
I mean, it's so good. Honestly, Katagiri has been on such a roll recently. Of course, very recently doing the Grand Finals tiebreaker for Course Ace. Just this morning, doing also a custom for EGTS, a Taiko tournament that was just announced maybe 8 hours ago, and now this. So Katagiri kind of on a rampage right now. It's very nice to see. We'll be moving on now to the No Mod 2 slot. If you liked Free Mod 2 last round, you're going to get more of it. It is a Brimir map by LMT. Let's take a look at Pantheon of Forsaken Gods.
With a double S. Yeah, it's a double S. And I think this is a map which is probably best explained by Mazarin, just judging by how his quarterfinals number 2 went.
Yeah, so this map it's not much of a step up in terms of BPM. It's only a single BPM increase. But in terms of complexity, it's a huge step up. It has a lot of tricky stream patterns. As you can see, it changes angles every 4 notes or even every 2 notes. And also, it has pretty much 2 different styles of streams in it. This part, as you can see, is pretty much linear, and then later on it switches to curvy streams.
Yeah, pretty reminiscent of the quarterfinals of just having more uncomfortable streams, right? There's a lot of more aim control involved than just the Knowledge King or the Tomai Dragon normal 2s we saw in the last 2 stages. So pretty much going back to what is there in the quarterfinals, and we do have some other stuff in the pool to balance it out, but I don't know, people did like the quarterfinals one, hopefully they also like this one. I think this was your favorite number 2 in the tournament, right, Master?
Yeah, this one is really awesome. I love it.
I'm really loving the variety of all the stream shapes in here. I think most of the time you're going to be looking at curved streams, but this is just very, it's very different.
Yeah, also I think this might have about the same stamina requirement as the finals one, so it doesn't really go up in stamina, mostly just up in sheer difficulty of aiming these patterns. So you could call it more of an aim map at this point.
Pretty sure the star rating is also lower, or about the same actually. I'm not sure if I'm mistaking it for the reworked star rating, but it's about the same, I think, yeah. Because the spacing doesn't get much higher either.
Yeah.
But as you can see, the angles change way more.
How does he assess this?
We're gonna talk about it.
It's 65 UR, by the way.
What?
Yeah, that's reminiscent of me playing a 5-star drum and bass song, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Except this one is pretty damn hard.
Yeah, he shows no signs of discomfort at all in this replay.
There's a good chance we get to see a little bit more of Varvalion pretty soon.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Yeah, got one more little show match in the grand finals. He may or may not be there. I think it's pretty interesting to get this map from LMT in a No Mod 2 context, because usually I think when LMT maps this kind of music, it's always in free mods or in hiddens, and it's always some like weird type of map, and it's very good for those slots. But I think this is the first time, at least in recent memory, that we get like a No Mod 2 out of him that is at least in this style. So that's going to be pretty interesting.
The last time it happened was in Courses 2020, I believe. It was
Yeah.
like a 180 BPM, and that one was way too spicy. This one a bit toned down.
All right, another pretty staple name in the alternating mapping scene, I guess. Let's look at a mock map.
Yeah,
It's Auto Scoppy from Yosei Teikoku. Always nice to see some Yosei Teikoku.
man, I mean, if you remember Morph, he had a map in there, I think in round of 32 as a normal 3, and we pretty much start with the easiest normal 3 in the tourney is Morph, and you know what? The hardest one is Morph as well. This one, however, is custom, unlike the round of 32 one, and yeah, it's just really cool and an intense song throughout. This is one of the rare 3-minute alternate songs. Usually alternate songs are mostly in the 4 minutes bracket, which feels like a drag song. This one, despite being 3 minutes, does feel long, because as you can see, there's so many patterns. It's active throughout the entire thing. You have these really snappy patterns, like constantly, and then you have these accelerating and decelerating and just longer notes of chains of notes throughout the entire map, especially in the solo, where you just cannot stop. It almost feels like a stream map at points because it's so intense. Other than that, fun facts, we actually had, who was it again? Izumi D'Angelo planned for this slot. He didn't feel it. When we slotted him in for this slot, he actually sent this exact song, and then we just dropped it, got Moff on it, and he also suggested the same song. It was a really weird coincidence.
surprised me with how much Isamir's been mapping this artist. It's like, it's gotta, you know, he's very good at it, but I think sometimes it's nice to see someone else do it, right? Like in the past, like 2 years or something, every time it's just a Teikaku, it's pretty much always Isamir. So we get to see a bit of a different take here, I think.
To be fair, we did have Denkari in last round, and it was Starstream, and then we had the Lassie map too. That I think is the exact same band. Not sure, but I think the vocalist at least is the same.
That's true, actually. We did get a Lost Day. Yeah, Lost Day does a lot of... usually, again, kind of similar thing, though. They're always, like, hidden. So we don't really get to see these maps in this context. I think we had a Lost Day Nomad 3 in, like, 2018 or something?
Yeah, and then...
On the song like this?
2019, we also had a Nomad 3, but, like, we noticed Lass's mapping style fits best in a free mod context, mostly because it's very flow aim heavy, so mostly stream heavy. Shout out to Emrek for getting the replay.
Yeah, that's another name you may or may not see a little bit more of. That's going to be the Nomad 3 pick, though, the last one of the tournament. And now for a little bit of a repeat performance here. We've seen this once before, except this time it's with someone else. Let's take a look at Nomad 4 by Halgo and Sharu. It's a good old song by Citrus, Illegal Legacy. So weird name.
Yeah, this map is pretty insane. This one has many slider streams, as you may have noticed from the build-up. It is very slider based, but it also has very hard one-port patterns as well, as you can see, especially the ones with the kick sliders. You have to be on point on them with your timing, or else you will probably slide the break.
Yeah, it's pretty much as you can expect. If you see Halgo, you have a map or shower map, and if you put them both together, yeah, more reminiscent of the semifinals.
Look pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean,
there's some pretty nice slider art in this.
I feel like Halgo could probably write a PhD thesis on his sliders and
Yes,
why he
please
chose
do.
to go for Abolic. And I'm pretty sure. Even Mazrin is stoked on some of these sliders, looking at the finals tiebreaker, being inspired by Halgo on some of the occasions.
Yeah,
Snowplots.
Halgo and Sharo are really good mappers. I'm really happy we got them this year.
Yeah, and if you notice that, Sharo might not be the Frenchman as Halgo is, which you expect on a Nomad 4 slot. So where's the real lazy Nomad 4 slot, Mazrin?
What?
Oh.
With French mappers and tech.
Yeah.
Are you pointing at the finals Relazy Nomad 4 incident?
Perhaps, I don't know.
Don't talk about that.
We don't talk about it. Okay, 3D rotating Yoshi. Alright, that's enough context. Yeah, but otherwise you see a lot of just aim control and fast sliders. You be on point. It's really easy to break here. If you thought finals was hard, this one's even harder.
Have we had a shower map before in OWC?
Don't think so.
No?
I think this might be the first time. Well, in any case, let's move on now. One more speed pick remaining. It's a good one. Let's take a look at Bit Futures by Toybot. It's a fantastic collab with and Frums. I don't know how to say that name, so I'm just gonna say
Yeah. You know of AAA games, but do you know of quadruple A games? I don't know, dude. But it's the Nomad 5. It is a bit different from the last stage, where it was mostly just about very comfortable aim and streams. This one is a little bit spiky. It has like 2 halves and then a bit of downtime in the middle, but it's just 250 BPM, 10 BPM higher, just a bunch of bursts here and there, a bit of aim control here and there. It's not too comfortable, and they want third section, which isn't completely free. We'll see next. We'll see in the DT pool what's happening there because of the Nomad 5. But otherwise, it's a different type of song as well, which is what's it called? The genre, like chiptune or something? Or?
Yeah.
I don't know, but otherwise it's a different genre. What you expect, especially later stages with like all the metal songs you've seen so far. Get a bit of variety in there.
There was definitely a period in time where this was pretty common for speed picks, right? I think I'm thinking of a lot of like battle maps of this artist specifically. We've seen a few of them, not so much recently though. It's nice for it to return though. I think one of the goals that is hard to stick to, but I think one of the goals is always to try to introduce a little bit more song variety, right? So especially if it's the same slot over and over again, there's some slots where that's just not possible. Like there's not really many song genres you can like map tech to, for example, but if it's just a speed pick, there's a lot more things you can go for, so it's nice to get something different for once.
I can already hear Mazarin being disappointed this isn't another metal song. We had so much metal representation in the previous
No,
movies,
right?
even
Haven't you heard Mazur's a tech mapper now?
Oh yeah,
He
sure,
graduated
sorry.
from metal.
Yeah, but for some reason he doesn't map the tech songs on tech.
I mean, it's pretty much tech. It's a Neurofunk beat in the background. This is a huge step up from last week. I'm pretty sure this is one of the highest star rating maps after the rework. I think it's nearing 8 stars, right? I think Toybot said so.
Oh yeah,
I
He
think,
checked in laser.
I want to say this was 767. I'm not quite sure. That might have been a previous version of the rework, but yeah, the rework is pretty friendly to this map.
Yeah, so far I think the star ratings at the bottom are taken locally from the OS game client. So, whatever you see locally is what you see at the bottom. So it is not the new star rating, it is the old one. Just for any players who are used to the star rating numbers, that's what you expect at the bottom.
You might be familiar with Nomad 6 if you're a Taiko player, but you're definitely familiar with the mapper if you're a standard player. It's a Yaspo Nomad 6 in the grand finals, baby. And this is something. We had to bring out a core for this one because, yeah, I mean, you'll see why. It's a pretty solid continuation. I think this is a very good continuation from last week, where it was a lot more about swing rhythm and just a lot of active stuff. It's just the same thing, but on crack.
Yeah, in terms of complexity, I think it goes down slightly, but it does make up for it in density because it has even more active rhythm and yeah, basically just does the swing, throws the swing rhythm at you non-stop.
And worth noting, so it shows this BPM is 280. Most of the song is going to be in 1/3, so it's not really 280, but it's extremely dense. I think there was still a little bit of debate on what we wanted the AR on this to be, but we settled on 9.3. Felt like the best place, but even then, that's pretty low for a song this fast. It's really low, so for how complicated some of these patterns can be to read, there's definitely a solid element of like density reading that's present here beyond just the rhythm as well, right? So
there's also multiple factors going into which makes the players feel as it's more higher density, which is the circle size 3 here. If you notice, if you go lower approach rate on small circles, it definitely feels different than lower approach on bigger circles. So next to that, just having the pattern complexity on this as well, it definitely has a bit of a reading aspect to it. I'm gonna probably just expect Germany to ban it every round. Yeah, that's the resident Germany band potentially, but we'll see. Maybe they practice it and think, oh, this is doable. But otherwise, the background behind the normal 6 rhythm slots, we tried last year to go for like a rhythm complexity increase every round, and it's just not possible. You cannot find rhythm like game songs or like just songs in general that have a step up and don't have too much downtime. And you like scale the amount of snap-ins and different snappings they have and get more complex instead of just going Sputnik in normal 6 again. And that's a bit too predictable, right? So we did just opt to go for something rhythm focused and just scale it up, add my aim control, which is kind of what we did with finals, and here we go with grand finals. A bit more aim control and reading added to it next to the rhythm.
Yeah, I think in terms of the rhythm choices in this, just the song in general, there's like a fine line that you cross between what's predictable and what's not. All of this is still very predictable, right? Like, you can learn this. It's nothing too uncommon. There's no weird snaps at all in any of this. It's just really fast. So it's a bit of a different element of gameplay that I think a lot of people might be getting used to, right? So I think by now we're used to IL type picks, right? So you talked about Sputnik, where it's just a lot about like really weird snaps. None of that here. It's just really fast. Moving on to the hiddens now. Maybe Mazarin should introduce this one.
Oh, right. I was actually wondering what the hidden one is gonna be, and I totally forgot it's actually this.
By the way,
Yeah, I was about to alt-tab into the Mappool sheet and check what the hidden one is. Yeah, so me and LMT collabed this for, what was it? I think it was Attorney hosted Laconia, I think it was Clever Cup. And yeah, we mapped this as a hidden one, and it was pretty much fine, as is, for OWC. And compared to last week, it's a step down in BPM, but it also has way lower AR, and it also features really long circle chains and really awkward angles compared to the last week's.
yeah, it's pretty much as you said, a lot of pattern aim, just a lot of intensity throughout the entire map. One thing we definitely need to take a look at are the longer chains of jumps. So if you're out of it for a second, you can kind of save yourself. It's not quite like a stream map where if you mess up once, you chain miss 9 notes, but you can chain miss 2 notes or 3 notes on some of these jump patterns if you try to chain this, which I wouldn't recommend you to do. But otherwise, still, as you can see, lower star rating than a lot of the rest of the core. Don't underestimate this map though.
Yeah, some people might have noticed in chat, Savada's gotten really good at hitting recently.
Changed his playstyle too.
Yeah.
I'm always a fan of taking existing tournament maps already, right? There's a lot of work that goes into a lot of the other community tournaments, and I think it's always nice to just start reusing them slowly. I think like a lot of effort and a lot of like balancing went into those things, and it's nice for them to have purpose in more than just one tournament for one weekend, right? So giving it a little bit of a second life here. We've been doing it a lot with Corsace maps as well, so.
Oh yeah, I mean, if there's a really good tournament map which got created, and I think that's one of the core issues I think with custom mapping is being able to harness like just creativity and make it happen, while you're literally forcing them to say, literally going, hey, map this and be creative. Which is, not a recipe for having a creative product at the end of the day, right? A really good one which has a lot of thought put into it. So it's really hard to find like really good bangers coming out of custom mapping, because they also are done with like time restraints. But when you have one, and those are done with tourneys, and you think it'd be a good tourney map as well, I mean, what's the pain or what's the problem with reusing it? It's a good map, just keep using it, no problem.
All right, another bit of a staple name here for the low AR hidden. It's Ice Cult time on a cranky song of all things, and this one is. Honestly, I was gonna say it's pretty spicy, but it's not too spicy. This one I felt was very, very playable. I think this is a very accessible low AR pick for a lot of the players in this.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Savada replay again. Play it. I mean, it's no biggie.
Even then, like, the song doesn't have anything weird into it. Like, there's some weird time signature stuff going on. Like, there's some sections that are 5/4, but you don't even really play around it or notice it at all. It's just mostly just a lot of linear aim at low AR, right? So nothing too weird.
Yeah, if you think about it, if you think of all the hidden tools we had so far, we tried to put in variety into LWC. And you saw some like CS5 Taiko-esque map with the Flask Runner 16 hidden. You saw some more Teppy focused ones, but not Deathstream focused because people really don't like those. So we tried to like have a bit of variety there, while still keeping it in, well, the progress of being approachable for people. The thing is though, once you get to the really high levels, and when you don't have doorway present, does it really make sense to put in a complete depth reading map in there, which has to be practiced for days on end? That is something we can discuss afterwards in the player Discord. But right now we have a more standard hidden approach to AP, which you see in a lot of tournaments. It's more aim focused, a slight rhythm if you need to, check out those 1/2 or 1/1 gaps, but otherwise it's pretty much in line of what you expect in a lot of tournaments in terms of hidden too.
Oh. Saw that, man. What happened?
Maybe it's for the better that Sawada isn't gonna play another pool this Odyssey. We don't want our playtesters to also be skill cut by the pools, because then we just have no opinions on stuff.
Maybe we should get FG Sky to play these instead. I think that sounds like a good idea.
True, yeah, let's get FG Sky. We gotta invite him next year. Yeah, with shout out to Sawada, who was the newest addition to the playtesting team this year. He was able to take over most of the speed picks and opinions on those. And, well, apparently he's also a hidden main now.
Pretty good one at that.
Yeah, what did we see when?
The main challenge with this one is just going to be how long it is. It definitely... There isn't any spikes or slow parts or anything, but yeah, no, it doesn't really stop for 3.5 minutes. So testing your linear aim consistency, there'll be a little bit more of that later on. But for now, one more hidden map, and it's real good. It's a Nathan map, and it's a song by Rishu and Choco, and this one will get stuck in your head for a very long time. I'm giving you a warning right now.
I mean, just looking at the replay, I think this would maybe be a map I'm gonna pass on to you, Asa.
Well, I forgot I did this replay. Sure. We haven't really seen the main parts of this here, but there's going to be a lot of 1/3. Honestly, this is definitely more of an aim map over anything else. There's not too much rhythm complexity in this or anything. It's just some of the rhythm during the courses is a little bit odd, but you can learn it very quickly. Most of this will just come down to a lot of aim. You can already see a lot of the snappier parts of this. But later on, I think when the song really kicks in, I think a lot of this is more of a free section for a lot of players. But once you get halfway in, it's you're on your own. Good luck.
Yeah, the background behind this one is because we already have Nomad 6, and a few other maps in the pool, we did want something that is not speed gated, but still slightly spicy, right? So slight rhythm complexity, but not too much, just enough where you don't have to keep on the same speed throughout the entire map. And this one having a longer 1/3 section pretty much helps that, which is gonna end up being a bit aimey. It's pretty much a mix of a lot of skill sets, and so it's a lot less obvious who's gonna be really favored on this one. But I've got an inkling.
It's the aim players. It's the aim players.
I'd say if you like the last week's hidden freedom, this is probably a good map for you as well.
This is
You're
your
both-
alt aim players coming up right now. Definitely the hardest part of the map for a good 30 seconds here. So also the part that's gonna get stuck in your head.
Oh, copy pasted patterns at the expander. We need a
These are mean.
yeah, just a bunch of 130 here. These are pretty much around 240, 250 BPM-ish snaps. But yeah, now this one's oof.
Alright, after this you can relax. That entire section is just so insane. That's why I'm saying I think this is mostly just going to be an aim pick if you have your alt aimers, because I guess that's a bit of a different thing. This is where they play. I think the rest of the map is relatively a lot easier than that section, but yeah, it's a really good map. I'm pretty happy with how this came out.
Yeah, I'm happy with this one too. It's really fun actually. Does a little speed up here in the end, but it's not enough to speed gate anyone, I don't think.
I don't know. There's like 250 BPM 5
Yeah,
note bursts. I don't know.
it's
Maybe
nothing.
If I can play it, probably not.
Double tappable.
All right, Hard Rock one time. It's more aim by Skyflame. What's the story behind this one? Because I think this is an existing map.
Yeah, it is, and we were actually looking for a comfortable aim map due to how the whole pool turned out. We were only missing a Hard Rock 1 and 3 mod 3 at one point, and yeah, we needed more comfortable aim, and we basically thought, why not go with Skyflame? Because he does comfortable aim stuff well and high star rating. And we looked through and found this map and went with it.
Yeah, if you remember back to the Nomad 1, Baki Dog, obviously he does smack pretty comfortably, but you do have a few inklings of slight uncomfortable patterns, as you can see some of the squares and just the active 1/4 sometimes. This is definitely more along the lines of just being that this is your aim map and only the aim players will play this, and it's comfortable, so whoever is the best in raw skill will play this. Because we don't want the pools to be too biased for anything niche or really uncomfortable in.
When I first linked this map to Force, I think he compared it to Louder from 2019 OWC Nomad 1. If anyone remembers that. It's also a Skyflame map from the same artist.
Yeah, but so far we have 3 maps of Skyflame this year round. It is again, I think Skyflame did map Hard Rock 1 last year and the year before, so
Definitely a bit of a staple. Wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised.
so it wasn't planned. I think this was one of the US editions of like 2 days ago or 1 day ago. We actually were like, okay, I guess we do need to go for Skyflame again. Okay, you know, it kind of reminds of the Isamir D'Angelo tiebreakers of finals in the recent years, right? Where you always in the finals you had like Isamir tiebreakers, mostly because we couldn't find anything, and then Isamir submitted a new map, which is like, wait, this is the right difficulty, and it's kind of consistent. Okay, I guess we go for another Isamir D'Angelo tiebreaker. Right, I don't know, man. I mean, if you get served, do these maps on a silver platter, just take it.
Yeah, I mean, the formula works here. I don't think anybody's going to complain about seeing more Skyflame.
Yeah, to be fair, we only had 2 other maps from them, so... And they were both Nomad 1s this year, so I think it's fine, yeah.
Just one custom, right? So we did try. Hopefully we'll see Skyflame in the future in other slots, though.
Is this the first Hard Rock one that isn't like an old map? Do we have one that wasn't an old map?
It was pretty much impossible to find one for a 7.5 Nomad 1 pool
Yeah.
at this point.
Super Soaker wasn't too old, right? I think we had Super Soaker.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that was
the-
2020.
yeah.
Yeah.
We-
That was the only one.
We were considering Hate's the Rise, but it's just too spiky.
It's the rise. Oh no.
If only Bartek was here.
Man. Society if Bartik was present in Mappool showcases. I miss him already.
And I think the whole like old, non-custom hard rock one has been mostly an effort from Bartek, right?
Yeah, Bartik really likes putting an old map twist in it, which obviously I'm not against at all, and neither isn't mattering as long as the map is fine. And sometimes it wasn't ideal, or sometimes it just wasn't possible to get a perfect tournament map as an old map, because that's just the way it is. But all ranked maps work out really well as tournament maps, but we tried our best, and we hope that players did enjoy that old map twist which Bartek added to the pools. Also, this one is one of the more consistent or consistency-based picks. Normal one is about 3:30. This one's 4 minutes, 20 seconds in total playtime.
Yeah, it's a bit of a marathon. Moving on now. Let's take a look at the precision pick by Cloyd. This is hard. I guess it depends on who you ask. This has been a little bit of a polarizing pick, I think, internally. We're not quite sure where to land the difficulty settings. There's some parts that are hard, some parts that aren't for some players, some different players. So you might see some people be really comfortable on this, but also maybe a lot of players that you would expect maybe are not able to.
Yeah, but when we talked about starting the easiest normal 3 being Morph and the hardest normal 3 being Morph, well, we kind of started with Cloyd in Harder 2, and we're ending the tournament with Cloyd Harder 2 as well. And once again, Cloyd delivering pretty well here on this map. It's more of a stream-focused map, not too spicy, so we didn't really go for the mega cut stream approach because we have enough aim control already with the Hidden 3, if you remember. And who knows, maybe there's some other maps which have some aim control, but this one was figured, was planned out to be more comfortable, but yeah, still some spicy stuff here and there. Also, a bit of shenanigans.
Largely due, just to cut you off, this stream here I think is the map. You can keep going. I just needed to say that.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to say quiet. Just fabuling the stream. Just take a look at this. What Cloyd's map streams? The map. This is the Cloyd had. I think the first version actually was even spicier. But we toned that one down because it wasn't quite what we wanted, so this one is actually less spicy than it initially was.
Yeah, so there are some players that are really good at this kind of thing, and there's not a lot of representation in World Cups usually because Precision will be more aim, but stream aim picks is just not something we've seen a lot in Precision. It used to be really common. You think of people like Silver, right? And maybe like 2015, 2016, there was like this like era of a lot of these picks. It's been a while since we've had them, so I think some people are going to shine very nicely on this map, but it might be pretty hard for some others to keep up. Moving on now to Hard Rock 3. I freaked out a little bit when I saw the song first. If you know of a particular KTG Start map, because it's kind of hell, but it's not that map. It's gonna be a custom by Il Jazz, or otherwise known as Christine.
Yeah, with this one you might be familiar with the map already from the Nomad 6 in semis. And initially this was planned for semis actually, and he made this map and it was simply way too easy and there wasn't enough time basically to make it proper. So we basically moved it to Grands and did a little bit of buffing and ironing out, and it eventually worked out in Hard Rock as a more space pick, I guess.
Man, which instruments are we gonna use in our next song? All of them. That's how I feel like the song's like. It's just all over the place and just so active, and rhythm complexity is gonna be represented by this pick rather than the normal 6. Mostly because if we try to one up the finals normal 6 in rhythm complexity, or like difficulty with the same rhythm complexity at least, we have to go high BPM and then we speed gate everyone. So rather have something like this in Hardrock 3 and go a bit of a different route in normal 6. So if you have your normal 6 players here, enjoy the rhythm complexity pick with OD10.
You can expect some A rank FCs on this most likely. I mean, maybe not. It's grand final, so the teams are pretty good, but I think, yeah, it's really tricky. Also, there's a lot of very difficult rhythm that isn't even mapped. Like, I don't think it's possible to map it and make it playable. There's just so much going on in the song, right? So, you kind of have to be a little bit selective as to what is being mapped, and it still ends up being so active and ridiculous with the rhythm choice, right? So, here's your act pick.
Yeah, if you don't practice this one, expect to get a B rank.
It's not too long though. It's kind of nice. It's very condensed. Let's move on to the double times now. We're going to be seeing these this infamous duo another time. It's a Mirash Delis DT1. What?
And now we finally have Savada actually playing what he came in to play. Which is the DTs, and this DT1 is, well, the Delis Mirage combo. Difficulty remap, sorry.
Yeah, ignore that.
This one has this map also has a bit of history, but it's
Like-
not too comfortable, but it is still tried to be as comfortable as possible. Well, as comfortable as a Delis Mirage map can be.
Every Delis X Mirage map has a bit of a history.
And I feel like we can write a novel just out of every interaction with Delis and Mirage and just sell it.
Actually true. Compared to last week, it's quite a big step up in terms of BPM. But I'd say the spacing is slightly lower, except the Kiais maybe. There are some larger jumps. But overall, it's very active compared to last week's. There's way more circle chains. They're very longer, and there's also more bursts. So it will probably speed more people than last week's did.
Yeah, a fun fact, the ending of this map used to be speedier than DT3 was. and this was actually planned to be a Delis Mirage Mastering collab, but what happened to that?
Yeah, basically they picked the song and I just dipped. Like, don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it, you know what? I'm okay with that. I think the first song was Sunglow, and then Mastering is like, guys?
No.
Team? What are you doing here? Didn't we want to collab? I don't want to do this. And then I think they met like a minute of it, and like, then you responded like, oh no man, not feeling this one. Oh man.
Yeah, because they put like wiggles on 270 on triples.
Well, when you put Delis and Mirage together and you just leave them to their own devices, you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, this map just spawned out of nowhere. I don't even remember seeing like a work in progress even.
Yeah,
There was like Sunglow one day and this the next day.
kind of reminds you of Down when you okay a song and then a day later he's like, here's an in progress, 3 minutes out of 3 minutes 20 seconds mapped. Okay, thank you. That's some progress.
The preview.
Yeah.
Got the whole map except like the slow outro.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, we thought that's gonna be mapped, but he actually thought it's finished, so like, okay, we take it.
Alright, so we've been seeing a lot of DT2 and 3, so let's see what we're going to be seeing every match most likely. Now Tomori with the DT2 on the Nightwish song. Bit of a throwback.
The background changed. Yeah, this is your. Yeah, this is your stamina pick for this week, and it is actual stamina compared to last week. It has way longer streams, but it is a bit slower. As you can see, it's 246, but it more than makes up for it, I'd say, in terms of a string length. It does have a lot less finger control though.
Yeah, pretty much what you expect out of DT2 this tournament. Last week was a bit of a switch up, this one more along the lines, so if Germany picks it, they're more likely to win it. Don't check my PayPal account. I might need to go into hiding if anyone checks that one. Otherwise, yeah, it's what you expect. There used to be a interesting background which had bigger circles than CS4, which we deemed to not be friendly. Yeah. That should be rushing into the fingers, not anywhere else.
It's a Naotomori classic.
A fun fact, the background, he knew what I was gonna get into. I think the background was called Boober and Hans. So I'm like, okay, he knows.
Of course he knew.
Anyway, we have Snake now.
Snake.
Savada probably FC'd this like 10 times.
Yeah, this also went under a couple changes, right? So.
No, I don't know, he just kept up seeing it like every day. It didn't even like get changed much.
Warms up, sees it, yeah, it's so good. Next day he still sees it, yeah, it's so good, okay.
Man, this ending is brutal.
Just tap the circles, man. I think Germany will feel right at home for this one.
Yeah, probably the next pick as well. It's DT3 to Map. Mo makes his return to the World Cup mapping. It's a song by it's a very long name in Japanese, but I think they also have an English name, which is Emily's Moonlight Serenades or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, it's the token speed map. It is pretty much a step up from last week, and just higher BPM, slightly higher BPM, not too much. More bursts, and more bursts. That's all I can say. The last one was on the shorter side. This one is pretty much just that. Made a bit longer and just slightly longer bursts. So you do see a bit of higher difficulty with the added consistency aspect to it all.
BPM is also a bit higher, right?
Yeah, like 3 BPM higher, I believe. Unless the BPM is lying, but no, this is the BPM taken from it. This should be fine. Yeah, this is 273.
Yeah, Mo mapped Ayla last year for qualifiers. That was the hidden one, I believe. It was more of a name control thing, but this year we got him for a bursty DT3 slot, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, Mo is one of those mappers who's really good at mapping in general and really creative, which is why we tried something like the Hidden One last year, which needed more time and more experimentation, which we did have this year on, and we figured it would be a shame if Mo didn't come back for something, because just a really solid map overall. Jesus Christ, like...
It's okay.
Look, I'm a slightly dyslexic. I don't want to talk about it.
He's tired.
I'm gonna shut
We're
up
working
now.
hard today.
Man, I don't wanna. You don't wanna know what happened last 3 hours. I'm done.
Yeah, someone asked if it's a featured artist, and I don't know if we did mention it or not, but yeah, yes it is.
Yeah, it's been a pretty... This artist has been in the World Cups for a couple times now. Also, I think always in grand finals or finals or something like that. In pretty different slots as well. We talked about last day earlier. I think this is one of the maps I did. I think in 2019. It's also by this artist. It's actually quite nice to be able to fit a lot more featured artist songs in this with custom mapping, right? There's like such a big library of songs that we can pick from now.
Yeah, but then you add to the fact that the mapper also needs to like the song for it to work, which definitely shrinks your pool of maps or pool songs you can pick out of quite a bit. So I think we're probably like 3 years down the line for probably a 100% FA pool. But that's not my problem. It won't be my problem to get a 100% FA pool.
Yeah, I think we're slowly working towards that. All right, there's your speed pick. One more DT to go. It's gonna be. Do you call this alt? Do you call this tech? I would call this tech. It's a real lazy mirror collab on a Nusao song. This is tech.
Yeah, in terms of BPM, it's pretty similar to last week's, but the patterning is really different and it has a lot more complex patterns, as you will see soon. There's way more than just those cuts, yeah. Pretty much has everything. There's triangles, there's those wiggles, there's finger control stuff, and there's the infamous double patterns.
Oh no.
Dada's favorite.
And Dada's favorite they are. I mean, Mirror and Relays is a collaboration you do remember from last year, looking at O parts, right? Or missing parts in that case. This time they return not in the normal 4 slots, at least for Relays here, but in the DT4 slot. Does feel different from the last few DT4s, which felt more like just glorified alternate maps at some points, but this one just adding that slider aspect as well, and you know, has this shorter 1/4 patterns at times rather than the longer streams in last week's DT4.
Finally moved them both away from Nomad 4, dude.
Can't map 160 in those maps if it's on DT already.
I think it's also been this DT4 slot has kind of changed a lot week to week. Sometimes it's more alt, sometimes it's a lot more aim control. I would say it's pretty much always aim control, at least in later rounds. But yeah, I think there's a couple of players that really enjoy playing this type of thing, and it's hard to fit it in every round, I feel like. So it's nice to be able to fit it in sometimes.
I think the basis of like DT4 and its existence can still be played around with a lot. Finals was one of those tries with the DT2, or like DT in general, can be maybe refined and made more, add more variety to it, but it is hard, as you can see, where some people did miss the DT2 stamina pick last week.
All right, let's move on to free mods now. And this, if you like linear aim or linear patterns, this is the final boss of that. It's KTG-ster on Flats by Second by Consum. And
Wait
no.
a second.
We swapped these.
We swapped.
Oh no.
Just kidding. All right, ignore all that. This is a Falcon sound team, of course. Jonathan Lefche, Falcon sound team. Always a bit of a staple as well. Somehow he just always finds these maps, right? Like I don't know how big the song depth of Falcon sound team is, but you can always rely on Jonathan to map that.
Yeah, I mean, first, Jonathan is definitely one of the, I don't know how should I put it, Falcon sound team salesmen. And there's other people slowly joining that actually, right? I think you saw the Mordred free mod 2 stages ago, I think in semifinals, which was also Falcon sound team. So you do see a lot of people just kind of joining that almost cult at this point, which I completely agree with. I think there should be more of this map, and it just works really well. Like this one, for example, is so varied. You see the jumps, it's your density pick in the first half, and then it just goes, wait a second, I'm an alt map now. And it's so interesting how many varied songs here. Yeah, you see alt map starting. It's the 156 BPM alt map now. There you go. Enjoy this one.
worth noting the AR on this is very high. It's a 9.8. It should be really comfy for no mod. So I think you could probably think of this as a very hidden favored map, most likely. Hard Rock looks pretty difficult on this.
Yeah, it is, but we will have pretty hard hidden maps as well for free mod with that stream. We got Badude.
But I specifically did not go for this replay because I said I couldn't go for the stream, and then we got Badu and he just double tapped it anyway.
Yeah, well, it's doable, right? And that was one of the concerns, that you don't want this to be speed gated, so the stream length is low enough, so you just, if you absolutely can't play it, just double tap it.
It is worth noting that's literally the only stream in the entire map, right? So that's not really going to affect anyone, I think. It's not like it's super high BPM. This is what, like it's like a 230 stream, maybe like 225. It's not the end of the world. And I mean, as you see, if somehow it is the end of the world, well, you can double tap it. All right, you'll never guess what the next map is, guys.
I wonder what it is.
Take a wild guess. Hey, look, it's a KTG stir map, flat by second by Consub. It's having a little bit of a deja vu moment. I'm not sure why, but yeah, this is as previously mentioned. If you like your linear aim, it doesn't get. I don't know the correct wording. I'm not sure if I should refer to this as better or worse, because it's really really hard. There's a section that looks like it's 3 stars. I swear to God, and it's the hardest thing in the game. Okay.
Do you mean the insanely long chains in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are really brutal and hidden, especially.
This is such a weird skill set. This. I don't even know how to describe it. A lot of the map is a lot more tolerable, I would say. Like, it's a lot more accessible. It's your typical, like CS5 Air 8. Although this is not Air 8, it's 8.5, because this patterning is impossible on Air 8. I believe it used to be Air 8, if I'm not wrong.
This is exactly why I suggested KTG stood for something late round, because he makes really hard to access gimmicks sometimes, and I thought it's pretty perfect for grand finals, for example.
Yeah, we had something similar in 2019. Oh, just look at this.
Okay, so this entire section, this map is super Hard Rock favored. This entire section.
He just cursor danced like in the middle of a half beat. What?
Yeah, wasn't happy about that miss, but man, this map just goes for this entire song.
This part is impossible. It's impossible. It's 3 stars though.
I don't know, just aim the circus, man. This is way lower spacing than No 1. I don't see the issue here. But this entire song and map combination is just an entire mood, I feel like.
No problem for Badu though.
I think oddly enough, I think the best players for this map are they're either going to be old map players, because I guess that was sometimes a thing, right? They're a lot more comfortable with their flow aim, or really fast aim players who are going to snap to literally everything on this, because the combination of like accel, decel, but also like complete 180 direction changes is just so unusual. I've never played a map like this.
It's so fun though.
It's really fun. It is. It's a ton of fun. So it's a fantastic map, but it's really hard, especially on hidden, most notably. So here's your Hard Rock favorite pick, most likely. One more free mod, and you might know this one. It's a good old Miss Magius map. It is Black by Toby Fox. The thing is,
Wait, they didn't rename the. Okay.
Please read the difficulty name. I beg you, Acer, please.
No.
Take the stage. Take the stage, Acer. Come on.
All right. We're playing Mazarin's Extreme Edit. The lore. So the lore behind this one is, again, this is similar to Hard Rock 1. I think we were having a few difficulties figuring out what was the best possible pick here. We went through a lot of maps, and this ended up being a super last-minute thing, but Miss Magius himself could not apply the changes. So we got permission from Miss Magius to apply the changes herself. So when this map is uploaded, it will officially be by Miss Magius. But for now, you're looking at Mazarin Extreme Edit, because technically Mazarin mapped this.
Yeah, there's apparently a riot in Brazil, and he couldn't, like, physically couldn't apply the changes or submit them. So yeah, you have this instead.
Yeah, hopefully Miss Magus is staying safe, but otherwise...
Anyway, about the map and the changes that we did, though, because it's pretty short.
Yeah, the changes, as you can see, the map is mostly aim control based, and it has a lot of flow aim, especially. It has some jumps that are pretty large, but we did adjust them so they're smaller. Mostly the jumps, yeah. And yeah, it also has accelerating streams that can probably be heard and hidden. But it's also not easy in hardware. I think it's pretty balanced, I'd say.
Alright, now I think the biggest and most important question is, why do you have a 4 instead of an A and a 3 instead of an E and a 1 instead of an I? Did you copy face Halgo's Dark Extra or something?
Exactly.
Oh no.
What's the
Face
idea
Dark
behind it?
Halgo. Oh man. I respect it.
I think the optimal way to proceed is if Miss Magus just uploads this map but keeps the Tiffany.
No. Please, Miss Nagius, I beg you.
Yeah, but as for the nerves, the patterns are the exact same. I just scaled them down pretty much, so they're not like full screen jumps here and there, and some of the wiggles were a bit too extreme.
Yeah, shoutouts to Reedcat for a very last minute replay as well. This was done like maybe an hour before showcase or something. Like it was very last minute.
During the match, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, oof.
All right,
Sweat.
well, you know, the World Cup brought us U parts last year, and it's fair to say that was a pretty good success. You know, paved the path for about a year's worth of custom tiebreakers across many community tournaments, and even some other game modes. We've seen EGTS recently have a lot of success with them. So I'm sure you're all wondering what we have this time around. You know, Grand Finals tiebreakers are often considered the final boss of the tournament, so it's always the hardest map. You know, only the best players are going to be able to play it. So it's nice having that, considering a ton of other games also have similar things. You know, you've seen a lot of boss songs in other games.
Man, tiebreaker time is always gonna be the most interesting aspect. It's always like the finishing touch of tournaments, and despite the tiebreaker being pretty interesting, I'm still waiting for my MSI motherboard. I might find it though.
Yeah, we're all waiting for our motherboards, man. I don't know, where are they? But yeah, you're right. I think it's like the ribbon on top. You know, it's like you package the whole thing. It's 140 maps or something, and you know, this is the little the sticker on top, the welcoming party. But yeah, I mean, I think we've had enough waiting. So we've been cooking this up for a little while now. Let's take a look at the OS World Cup 2021's last boss. And there it is. It's Thunder Rafts. Here's your grand finals tiebreaker. Additionally, though, before we even talk about it, you saw it briefly bottom left. This is also Yu's welcoming party to the featured artist. And what a way to enter.
Yeah, if you took a look at it, we tried to improve in every single way possible from last year. We had way more time this year around for the reveal, for the mapping, for quality assurance, for everything. And if there's one way of topping last year's, I think this is the only way. You get an FA release with the custom song at the same time. I don't know how we will top this next year, but for now, I'm only thinking of this year.
I'm not sure what you can really do beyond this. I think we can just hope to repeat the same thing, right? So, I don't know. I think this is the top. It's, I think most notably about the map, though, maybe you've noticed it's a lot more playable than a lot of these other Grand Finals tiebreakers that we've been seeing, right?
Yeah, it is way more playable compared to Uparts or the Corsair's tiebreaker, for example. We didn't try to go as hard as those did because we figured we don't want people capping out at 400k or so in Grand Finals tiebreakers, and so we went a little bit easier. And yeah, I think it's really playable. And compared to the Finals tiebreaker, it does go up in complexity a lot, but in terms of raw skill requirement, I think it's very approachable for every player.
Yeah, there's some FC potential on like a lot of teams on this as well. Like, it's approachable enough, so I think this should create some, hopefully create some good moments. You know, if it's played, I'm hoping it gets played.
Yeah, and shout out to not having 180 BPM 1/6 in the map. At Real Lazy. Sorry. I don't know what came about. But I really want to thank Yo and you for the amount of effort you put into this and listening to our feedback and making a lot of changes, which obviously is pretty hard when you have a creative product like a song and you just need to change BPMs and like sections slightly. It's daunting, right? But Yo, I think, delivered really well here, and it was a bit of a challenge speaking with him because he's Japanese, so it's you don't want anything to be lost in translation, and thankfully nothing got lost in translations. Everything we ever wanted is present in this tiebreaker.
Yeah, they were so cooperative, so it's very nice to have him on board. That's about it, though. That's every map. that's the grand finals done. That's the entire tournament done in terms of Mappool showcase. What are you feeling about that?
I'm gonna take a long vacation. Long vacation.
It's well deserved.
But I don't know, Mazarin might be there next year, but man, you won't see me in the same presence this next year as I'm this year.
Are you done?
I think so, actually, yeah. I think mostly I'm pretty happy with the way the pools were done this year. I'm still gonna be present to help out with the organization of like how to approach stuff, but I don't think I will be this much hands-on the pools as I'm this year. Depends on the managers on what they want me to do, but otherwise, I'm pretty happy with the pools this year. It's been a long time. It's what, 4th year of pooling this time. Started off with just normal ranked maps and slightly dipping into that custom mapping, and I think this year we definitely improved on those ends. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the pools, and I think I'll join Half Slash in the retirement home.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna pull a Half Slash and become an advisor. But I mean, as both a player and someone who's been a little bit more involved in pooling recently, I do want to sincerely thank you for all of the great map pools over the year. I think you've done a fantastic job, and I think this pool this week is no exception. Very, very, very solid.
Yeah, and my last gift is gonna be the Nomad 1. Put into the vault. Feel free to map on the 9 to 8 star version and put it in vault.
I'm sure there will be. your AR-10 edit.
Heat up version.
Nightcore version. Oh no. Oh, to see that one.
Secret lore.
How about you, Mazarin? This was your first time on OWC, really, right? So do you have a good experience?
Yeah, it was a great fun actually. I love pooling.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it at all. And I don't think I'll let Force go that easily.
Oh no.
Neither will I.
Yeah,
No,
but I
don't
do,
worry,
I do
Chad.
want to. I don't want to shout out all the people behind the scenes who worked out. Some of them aren't even listed, all the playtesters. I did mention them at the start of what you see, but some people joined, like Savada and Crystal. Even though he didn't do a lot of feedback, he still helped out on the picks he was present for, and just measuring for stepping up from the mapper role to the playtester role to Mappool select in like a week. And Bartek for always giving his opinions, which are really valuable as a player, and playing through every single pool. It was a blast. A lot of the playtesters definitely helped make the pool what they are today, and I don't think I would choose my team any other way this year, at least.
Yeah, I think the diversity of opinions really helped us out overall because Bartek's opinions really helped us out to flesh out the pool in a way that even more people can enjoy it, I think, instead of being biased towards something in particular.
Yeah, there's some lessons to be learned over the years as we do more and more custom pooling, and that not necessarily conflict, but just having very different opinions is really good because players have different opinions and some like different things, and you know you have to learn how to fit everything. So I think so far this World Cup I think has fit that slot pretty nice. I think like we've had a lot of variety, not in terms of like songs or like mappers or anything, but just like an entire like map genres and the things we focus on, the slots and stuff. So I think it's been pretty successful. So looking forward to seeing how that's going to change next year and seeing if you guys end up coming back. It's worth noting also one more time. It's important to note because it's the last time you can. This is the last time you can get your profile banners. Realistically, there's only 3 teams left in the tournament now, and this is I think up until Friday is the last time you can get your banners. So if you want to see more, you know, more commission content like the two things that we have in this pool, well, you know, buy a banner helps support the tournament and goes towards the prize pool. You know the drill. Everyone knows banners by now. Hopefully, every single one of you has a banner on their profile.
Yeah.
But-
And you can get the cheapest pants possible while subscribing to the Twitch channel. You get the Peppy Pants emote. Who wouldn't want pants?
I haven't seen a lot of that actually. We used to build full peppies. I think there's.
True.
I don't have it anymore. I think, but yeah, you can assemble your own peppy. But anyway, that's gonna be it for the stream for now. Mappool Showcase is done, so there's only 2 Grand Finals matches remaining, as well as a show match next weekend, and they're gonna be fantastic matches. Here's all of the maps that are gonna be present in that match. So hopefully you'll like the viewing experience. But I think for us that's gonna be it. So thank you again one more time, Forza and Mazarin, for stepping in and doing all the work that you've done.
It was a pleasure.
Indeed.
But we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Goodbye.
Yeah.